Hello everyone, welcome to another stream of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. I'm stressed out, man. I've been trying to solve this testimony for like 2 days in a row now, and I just don't know what it is. Hey Captain Chips, what's up? I'm trying to solve this testimony and I just don't know what to do. The whole plan began with my death. Like, it makes sense to do the attorney's badge here, but it's not right. I just don't get it. And now it's over. I lose. All progress gone. Yep, it's over. It's over, guys. Everything I've worked for, everything these last 3 games, these last 5 cases, it's all done. Yep. Series canceled, guys. Sorry. See you all tomorrow for stuff. Yeah, it's over. Oh well, I tried my best. Now I remember, I gotta press everything, that's what I gotta do. Anyway, welcome guys. Hope everyone's doing good. Hope you're ready to finish this game at last. The whole plan began with my death. Yeah, last time we played this game, the trials got crazy. Bunch of truth bombs were announced, and now we're cross-examining the dead Dahlia right now. And we're gonna finish this today. Hey, number 13, hey Mafia Bay, what's up? Good to see you both here. You were executed last month, correct? That's a sentence. Yes, I was hanged. It wasn't exactly pleasant. How did you manage to discuss the plan? When did you talk with Morgan Fay? Last year, she was transferred to the same detention center as me. Since I was on death row and she was my mother, it was actually pretty easy to meet with her. I see. So that's when you discussed the plan. Ha. Are you crazy? At first, that woman was planning to kill me as well, even though I'm her own daughter. I'll make Pearl Fay the Master of Khura'in. So I asked you all last time, what level is Morgan Fay on the kill this man list? I mean, she was already, like, at the top spot right now, but I guess, how do you get higher than the top? She's a cold, twisted woman. She thought she could finally regain her lost honor, the honor she lost when her younger sister, Misty, took her place as the Master. Morgan Fay is very much top of it. Ever since that day, she's been working on this plan. A plan, huh? A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fay to install her own daughter as the next Master. So Mafia Babe, number 13, do you think we caught the murderer? Is it Dahlia? The dead Dahlia? That's the real question here. You're talking about Pearl Fay, is that correct? Yes, though at first she had high hopes for the two of us. You and your twin sister Iris. You hope so? I hope so too. That's correct. Fortunately, neither of us had much spiritual power. That's why we were abandoned by her, along with our father. Abandoned? The only person I ever really cared about in life was myself. My sister was a nuisance, so I convinced my father to leave her at an old temple. Hey, D. Williams. Hunts from Chet early in stream. Good to see ya. What do you think, Mafia Babe, by the way? Do you think we have our murderer here? Is it Dahlia? You mean Iris? Yes, my father remarried a woman who also had a daughter. The less children you have, the more money there is to go around. Hang on a minute. Give me a second. Not sure, maybe. And on top of that, my father had absolutely no interest in children in general. How horrible. The really horrible one was that woman. That bitter, vengeful woman. It was her stubbornness that gave birth to that child, Pearl Fay. She was born with an abundance of spiritual power, unfortunately for her. You forgot. We'll see, D. Williams. Did the stream crash? What happened? Morgan Fay heaped all her broken hopes and dreams onto that poor child's back. Or do you mean, my laptop messed up? All because of her pathetic dreams of having her bloodline become the main family. But for it to work, Maya Fey would first have to die. Maya would have to die? But why? For our bloodline to succeed as the main family, thus making Pearl the new master. Your internet borked? Oh, great. Now's a good time to, do it. Now's a good time for my and anyone's internet to bork, huh? The remaining descendants of the current master had to be taken care of. But Pearls would never agree to a plan like that. She adores Maya. How sad. You still don't get it, do you? What Pearl wanted had nothing to do with it. Morgan didn't care one bit about Pearl. The only thing she cared about was the position of the master. That's all. That's ridiculous. She was willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to achieve her goal. The life of her daughter, and naturally, the life of Maya Fey as well. How could anyone do that? The idea was for me to kill Maya and then have the blame pinned on Iris. You? You were going to kill Maya? Pearl didn't need to know anything about it. All she had to do was follow the instructions in the letter and channel me. Then I would have simply used her body to finish the job. In any case, I'm already dead, and there's nothing any of you can do to me. Grrr. So the plan was to blame the crime on your younger twin, on Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. She and I look absolutely identical. No one can tell us apart. If someone were to witness me killing Maya, naturally they would think it was Iris that had done it. And the witness in this case was the head nun, Sister Bikini. I never would have guessed she was going to return to Hazakura Temple that night, but she wound up seeing Iris's crime anyway. But why did you want to pin the murder on Iris in the first place? She's your twin sister, isn't she? Twin sister? Don't make me laugh. She's nothing but a backstabber. I couldn't care less about her. Backstabber? You just don't understand. You never will. Anyway. The plan went wrong, but it seems to have succeeded anyway. You think the plan was a success? You heard me. Just as that woman had hoped, Maya Fey is dead. Now the title of Master will pass on to Pearl Fey. That's absurd! Maya is she's just trapped inside the secret cavern. Really? You're as foolishly optimistic as ever, aren't you, my darling Feeny? Do you want to know the truth? Ever since we met, I've despised you. Your sniveling naivete and your pathetic faith in other people. I just want to know one thing. What did you personally think of Morgan Fey's plan? Hair flip. I told you already, didn't I? It was a stupid plan. It had no point, no value other than fulfilling her own greedy desires. Yes, it was certainly nothing to be proud of. If that's how you feel, why did you help her carry it out? Why would you do it? Why would you kill Maya? You may not understand it, being the kind and gentle soul that you are. You may not be able to appreciate why someone like me would help a woman like that. So then tell me, why? Hey Nylos, thank you for the tab. Going to bed, have a good night, my dude. See you tomorrow, hopefully. Isn't it obvious? I'm not like that woman. I only act in my own self-interest. The reason I helped her was for myself. For my own personal satisfaction. What did you say? So this woman, Dahlia Hawthorne, she had her own reason for wanting Maya dead. Do you understand why I would kill Maya Fey now? What my goal was? Obviously, it's because you were helping Morgan Fey. Helping? Don't make me laugh. From the day I was born to the day I died, I never helped anyone. I lived for myself, and in the end, I died for myself. I thought that was obvious. So she wasn't actually cooperating with Morgan. She was just using Morgan and her plan so she could accomplish her own goal. All I wanted was to do was to kill Maya Fey. That was the only way I could think of to get revenge. Revenge? Looks like I have no choice but to present that piece of evidence. I can't believe it. She meant to kill Maya. I got to keep a cool head, and I need to get more information out of her. It's the only way to understand this plan, and what she was after as well. So why would she do this, guys? Why would she want to kill Maya if it was only for her and for revenge? If you don't know, I'll give you a clue. Why was the reason she was dead in the first place? Who was the defense attorney in the first and fourth case? It's because of Mia! Could it be that your actual goal had nothing to do? Okay, this computer is sucking a lot of beep right now. That your actual goal had nothing to do with Maya Fey herself? Yeah, it's not just your internet, Captain Chips. It's mine too, actually. As I said, none of you have the power to punish me anymore, because I'm already dead. I better wait, actually, just to see if everything's working still. It is. It is. But my god. Well, I had the same problem, you see. You can't punish the dead, and you can't take revenge against them either. You wanted to take revenge on someone? I was sentenced to die because of that woman. Mia Fey. I somehow knew this was it. I wanted to send her a message. It was at her hands that I suffered my first humiliation. I wanted her to feel the same pain she made me feel. Sadly, when I realized revenge was impossible, I gave up. And the reason it was impossible was it perhaps because Mia Fey had already died. Yes, and I realized there's only one way to take revenge against the dead. And how do you do that? Even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever. I wanted to take away the person that Mia Fey loved most. I wanted to kill her with my own hands. That would be the one and only way I could take my revenge against Mia Fey. That was the reason I helped out with that woman's plans. Just for that you would kill Maya? Your goal was no different than that of Morgan Fey. As they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. What a cruel plan. Cruel, cold, and heartless. Don't preach your time preaching the dead. I've already told you, there's not a thing you can do to me. Grrr. That night, at about 9:30 p.m., I materialized into this world. I quickly pinned my hair up and put on a demon-warding hood. Then I picked up the staff that was by my side and left Hazakura Temple. So, it was at least Dunam who channeled her after all. That ridiculous head nun never noticed a thing. She left Maya Fey at the inner temple and wobbled back clutching her poor old back. What do you do then? That kid was easier to handle than I had hoped. I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern. Then I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and... Uh-oh. So then you're saying you stabbed Maya? It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that. What does that mean? No clear memory? I don't know. I think I was stabbed. You were stabbed? At the last minute, Maya Fey must have stabbed me. I'm sure of it. That's not like her at all. Maya wouldn't stab a french fry with a plastic fork. Anyway, I suddenly lost consciousness. But before I did, I scrawled her name on the lantern. Just as I was passing out, I wrote Maya behind my back. I had hoped it would cast suspicion on her. I can't believe she was thinking of that until the bitter end. That's where my memory temporarily stops. It stops? I don't have any memory of actually killing Maya Fey with my own two hands. My very last memory was... Maya's terror-filled eyes. When I woke up after that, I was in the sacred cavern surrounded by darkness. You were in the sacred cavern? That entrance was sealed with one of those trick locks. Somehow I had been trapped in there, but how did you wind up in there? I'd like to know that myself. Anyway, I was worried. I didn't know whether or not Maya Fey was dead, and I swore I wouldn't return to the underworld until I knew I had killed her myself. For a ghost, you're one tough cookie. I wanted to get out of there and make sure she was dead, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't get out. The trick lock stopped you, huh? I didn't know how to remove it. So then you're saying you were actually confined against your will inside the sacred cavern? Yes. I wanted to get rid of that annoying lock as soon as possible, but it wasn't easy. I kept getting interrupted while I was working on it. Interrupted? It was early in the morning, but someone came into the training hall. What? Who? Could it have been Maya? I thought the same thing, but I couldn't see. Why not? If someone had spotted me, I would have lost my chance to take revenge, so I made sure to hide myself well at the back of the sacred cavern. That morning, only 2 people could have gone into the training hall. Maya and Pearls. Pearls went there to cover the hanging scroll in gravy. Still, I finally managed to remove the lock, but I was too late. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? The flies had already started to gather. The bridge had been fixed and the police had started their investigation, correct? Naturally, I couldn't go out. So instead, I returned to the cavern and put the lock back on myself. I realized I wouldn't get a chance to see Maya's corpse as I had hoped. How's everyone's internet, by the way? Is everyone still here? But just then, Lady Luck showed up. Lady Luck? After that big earthquake, she showed up all by herself. The real Iris? Still with you? You're good? Alright. We got peoples here. Well done. We beat the internet, guys. She said she'd come to make sure the sacred cavern was alright. Stupid girl. Stupid girl. I came out and got from the sacred cavern and got a feel for the situation. And I locked her away in my place. Oh, there's that answer. I had finally learned exactly what had happened. It was then that I learned that the plan had actually succeeded. What do you mean your plan had succeeded? I had misunderstood one thing, you see. That night, the one that had summoned me, I had assumed that it was Pearl Fey. Well, of course you would have assumed that. It was written in the instructions. But I was wrong. The person that had actually called my spirit back was Misty Fey, the picture book author. What? Well, that's really the only possibility, isn't it? After I lost consciousness in the garden, it was her body that was left lying there. Maya Fey. I wasn't able to kill her with my own hands after all. But even so, I made her commit the most vile sin a human can commit. And that is matricide, the sin of killing her own mother. No way! This is a weird place to join. Hey, Edgewolf. Welcome to the end of the game. How you doing, my friend? It's good to see ya. Order in the court. What is the meaning of this? It's true that I was the one who attacked Misty Fey, but even so, the murderer who actually snuffed out Misty Fey's life was none other than your darling little Maya. Ridiculous. That's nonsense. Are you sure about that? Just think about it. There's even evidence supporting these facts, isn't there? What? What do you mean? What is this so-called evidence? The fact that Maya Fey has disappeared is evidence enough, isn't it? Huh? The idea that she's still in the sacred cavern is just ridiculous. She wasn't able to escape from the inner temple, that much is obvious. In that case, there's only one place she could be. Where? Do I have to spell it out? The bottom of the Eagle River. Where else? The Eagle River? Maya Fey killed her long-lost mother. She's still possessing Maya, isn't she? We'll see. Maya Fey killed her long-lost mother. Can you imagine the guilt she must have felt when she realized that? That's why she threw herself into the Eagle River. Most bodies that wind up in there are lost forever. So, what do you have to say now, Feeny? Oh, Oh! Whose ringtone is that, guys? Oops. Sorry, that's my phone. What kind of ringtone is that? Godot here. Okay, thanks. Beep. What? Was it something important? They just finished removing the locks from the sacred cavern. That's great! What about Maya? There was a woman in the cave. Was it Maya Fey? It was the accused, Sister Iris. Huh? Don't look so surprised. I locked her in there yesterday. I just finished telling you that. So, what about Maya? Where is she? There was no one else found inside the sacred cavern. No, it can't be. It's a chiptune version of his jazz theme. Yep, I love it. I told you, didn't I? She's dead. No. No! She's dead. It seems that this case has come to an end. A tragic end. Sadly, it appears the killer of Elise Dunham, also known as Misty Fey, was her own daughter, Maya Fey. Overcome with guilt for what she had done, Maya Fey jumped to her death into the raging waters of the Eagle River. It can't be. Ha. Trite. Have you ever heard this one? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth, no matter how improbable it may seem. What is that supposed to mean, Prosecutor Godot? According to this witness, Maya Fey threw herself into the Eagle River. However, is that really the truth? Remember, this woman testified earlier that the bridge was already on fire when the murder was taking place in the garden, which means Maya had thrown herself into the river. It must have been from the inner temple side near the bridge. That's right, that's where she jumped from. But that's impossible. It's impossible to jump into the river from there. What? Don't get your panties all twisted up, Trite. Just relax and think through the whole thing again. Are they prosecuting the dead or something? It's a long story, Hedgewolf. This is, like the ending of a very, very, very long case. And the very ending of 3 very long games, too. It's complicated. It's very complicated. So it's impossible? Maya couldn't have thrown herself into Eagle River. Well, Mr. Wright, Miss Hawthorne claims Miss Fey threw herself into Eagle River from the temple side. Do you have any evidence that refutes this claim? Maybe. Maybe I do. I don't know. Check the VODs, definitely. Or better yet, Hedgewolf, you should play this game sometime. The Phoenix Wright series. It's so good. You will not believe how good the writing in this game is, and the court cases and just everything. Entertaining enough for you? Oh, it is. It's so good. I played this as a kid long ago, and I loved it. It's impossible to jump into the Eagle River from the inner temple side. No one knows that better than this witness. What did you say? 11 years ago, you jumped into the very same river. Just take a look at this overhead map. As you can see, below the cliff on the inner temple side is a big rock shelf. Oh, you're right. She wouldn't have reached the river if she had jumped off from there. In other words, if she had jumped, we could be able to see her body in this photo. Ah! When is Apollo Justice, by the way? No idea yet, D. Williams. This year, hopefully. That's my best guess for that one. Ha, so you finally figured it out. You... No! Order! Order! You're just playing with me. Maya Fey's body is at the bottom of the Eagle River. There's nowhere else she could possibly be hiding. Miss Hawthorne, have you ever heard this one before? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Yes, just a few minutes ago. Maya Fey wasn't inside the sacred cavern. We now know that she didn't throw herself into Eagle River. Correct. That eliminates all the most likely possibilities. Now, although it seems improbable, there's still one other place she could be. What? What is this one possibility you were talking about? That's obviously a bluff, so where is her dead body then? Finally, I think the pieces are falling into place. Normally, the living have no way to punish the dead. But I think there's a way to give Dahlia Hawthorne the ultimate punishment. Shall I tell you, Miss Hawthorne? Shall I tell you where Maya Fey is at this very instant? Maya Fey is... That's right, guys. She's in the inner temple right now, being channeled by Iris, who actually does have powers. No, I'm kidding. The bust is in the courtroom. There's only one possibility left, namely, she's right here in this very courtroom. What? Maya Fey is here? You're saying she's here in my courtroom? Dahlia Hawthorne, I seem to recall that you said I had misunderstood one thing, you see. So what? But I think there's one more thing you misunderstood. What do you mean? Tell me something. At this very moment, who is channeling Dahlia Hawthorne? What? Why that's obvious. It's Pearl Fey, that pathetic little sniveling runt. You're wrong. Pearl's tried, but she couldn't do it. I've never failed at channeling someone. This is the first time it's happened. Isn't there an explanation for why you couldn't channel a spirit? It could happen if someone else was already channeling the same spirit. Also, isn't my forehead gigantic, by the way? Someone called me before Pearl did? But who? Pearl's even tried again on the day after the crime, but she couldn't do it. What could that mean? I think the truth is becoming clear to you right about now. Am I correct? Ah! It wasn't Pearl that channeled you. There was someone else who called you before she could. That's right, guys. It was... Detective Gumshoe. No, it's Maya. This is an easy one. Pearl's couldn't do it, and Misty Fey is gone. There's only one possibility left. Come on already. I can't stand the tension. Dahlia Hawthorne, the person channeling you right now must be... Maya Fey! What? What? Imagine. Yep, Dick Gumshoe. He's a spirit medium too. But how could that be? Remember what this witness Dahlia Hawthorne said about her goal? She said that her goal was to kill Maya Fey. Yes, that's right. But if Maya channeled the spirit of someone that was trying to kill her... Ha. Well, Gramps, what would happen? Could it be? It looks like you finally understand, Your Honor. Well, I don't. What are you going on about? What I'm going on about is the reason Maya channeled you, and there is only one reason: to protect herself from you. To protect herself? From me? Yes, on the night of the crime, you were only interested in one thing: killing Maya Fey. The path back to Hazakura was closed off and there was nowhere for her to run. So then the problem became, where would be the safest place to hide? You mean, that's when she channeled me? All this time you thought you had been channeled by Pearls. That's why it never occurred to you that Maya's hiding place was you. No! Don't say that! You're saying that I, Dahlia Hawthorne, was played for a fool by that little whelp? Maya Fey killed herself, isn't it obvious? Sorry, but no. It would have been impossible for her to jump into Eagle River. This was the only avenue of escape open to Maya. The only way that Maya could disappear from the inner temple. I don't believe you. A stupid little girl like that who had never been out in the real world. She could never have come up with a plan like that. Who could have ever given her such a brilliant idea? Well, me, of course. Mia! Mia Fey! It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne. So it's true. It was you. Yes. Ha. You're something else. But what? What are you doing here? That hair. It's pearls, right? Tell me something, Dahlia. I want you to think back to that night one more time. You had just cornered Maya in the inner temple's garden, and then, in the final moments of the fight, you lost consciousness. The drama, I know, right? The drama! I was stabbed by Maya Fey. Actually, Maya lost consciousness at the same time as you. She did. Not terribly surprising since she was about to be killed. When she woke up, she was in the training hall. That's when Maya decided she needed help. So, she channeled me. She explained in a memo the situation I was in. She asked me what I thought she should do. She did that? I can't believe it. Of course, I didn't have all the details, but one thing was perfectly clear, and that was, I knew that you couldn't be allowed to wander free. Free? What do you mean? It was a race against time, so I wrote down 2 things that Maya had to do. Channel Dahlia Hawthorne as soon as possible, and lock herself in a sacred cavern until help arrived. So it was Maya who put the lock on there. Yes, but why did you order her to do those 2 things? If she hadn't done it, Dahlia Hawthorne would have been channeled by someone else. By one Pearl Fey. Pearls? Yes, Pearl didn't properly understand the plan, so all she was trying to do was follow her mother, Morgan Fey's, instruction. Kinda like Azula? Yeah, kinda. If she had succeeded in channeling Dahlia Hawthorne's spirit, things would have turned out very badly, to put it mildly. So that's how it was. Dahlia Hawthorne would have used the body of Pearl Fey to kill Maya at all costs. Yes, it certainly sounds like that was the intent all along. How dare you? I won't forget this. Why not just admit it, Dahlia Hawthorne? Your little plan was nothing but a big failure. Yes. Another failure to add to the pile of shame, wouldn't you say? What do you mean by another? Think about it, Dahlia. Remember all your past crimes. Not a single one of them was a success. They all ended in failure. What? How dare you? 11 years ago, the fake kidnapping, your very first crime. What a case, I know, right? You got your hands on a $2 million diamond, but after Terry Falls escaped and went to meet with Valerie Hawthorne, the truth was exposed. Shut your mouth, that wasn't my fault. It was because of that stupid oaf of a prisoner and that weakling of a policewoman. And then, 1 year later, you tried to kill me. Well, I'm still alive, but you wound up killing someone else. As a result, you were sentenced to death. It's one stupid move after another for you, but it's no longer funny. You, wipe that smug, happy-go-lucky smile off your face. And now this. You've messed up again. You've let Maya Fey escape, even though she was right there in front of you. Grr, grr, ah. Mia Fey, Mia Fey, Mia Fey, Mia Fey! You spinster! I was supposed to kill Maya Fey like I swore I would. And if only you had gotten that spiky-haired jerk the guilty verdict, I wouldn't have been hanged to death. True. But I think you finally understand, Dahlia Hawthorne. You will never defeat me. What? What did you say? What did you say? Whether you're alive, dead, or somewhere in between, you will never defeat me. She's got quite the record. Oh, she has. Massive record. As long as I'm around, you're destined to lose for all of eternity. Grr, grr, grr. I remember what you said earlier in the trial. You said that there was no way we could punish you, because you were already dead. What about it? Then you said, even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever. That's very true, Dahlia, and that's exactly the punishment you'll never be able to escape from. For all of eternity, you'll have to remain as Dahlia Hawthorne, a miserable, pathetic, weak creature who can never win at anything. And for you, there is no escape from that, no hope of freedom. Since the day you were executed, that narrow bridge that had once stretched out in front of you has burnt to a crisp. Oh, you're wrong. It can't be. How could I lose to the likes of you? It no longer matters. I don't care whether you win or lose anymore. The only thing I want is for you to come out of Maya Fey's body right now. I'm not ready to go. Whew. Hey, there's Maya. Nick. Sis. She nearly darn well got a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure final villain death, guys. I'll pose this question. Where is Dahlia Hawthorne on the Kill This Man list? Now then, I assume you are the real Iris. Yes, I was just rescued from the sacred cavern. Maya! She's alive. We did it, guys. Mafia babe, the trial's over, we did it! I must say, you and your twin sister are indeed identical, from what I can see. Not crazy high, but high. Not as high as Morgan, that's for sure. In any case, it appears that everything has finally been cleared up. Mr. Godot, what happened to Dahlia Hawthorne? If you ask me, Your Honor, it looks like she went back to the hell she came from. It seems that Misty Fey wasn't the only victim of this crime. Maya Fey, as well as the young Pearl Fey, were also victims of this wicked and selfish plan. Yes, Your Honor, the tragedy of Medium Valley has finally come to an end, it seems. It would be best for everyone if no further attempt was made to channel that spirit again. Your Honor? Yes, what is it? About this whole spirit medium thing? It's almost weird how comfortable you seem to be with the concept now. Well, to be frank, my younger brother is quite judgmental. He often criticizes me for not studying hard enough. That's why I made a concerted effort to study up on the Karain channeling technique. Hey, isn't that the New Year's issue of Occult? I've seen quite a few things in my many years on the bench. And in all that time, I finally learned this one thing. Each case is different and takes place in its own world, if you will. In order to fully understand the world, first we must have to immerse ourselves in it completely. And that's where my brother and I used to differ. Never thought of it that way. At any rate, it's time to pass judgment in the case of Iris of Hazakura Temple. Done. Oh no. Why did you do an objection? You're a little too fast with that gavel, Your Honor. What do you mean by that, Mr. Godot? This trial isn't over yet. That's what he means. What? Trite. Remember what Miss Evil Spirit said in her testimony? Huh? Dahlia's testimony? I caught up with her in front of the stolen lantern, then I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and... It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that. I think I was stabbed. Just as Dahlia Hawthorne was about to attack Maya, she was stabbed and killed by someone. Yes, that's right. The person that was ultimately killed was the spirit medium that channeled Dahlia. At least Dunim, no, Misty Faye. But who killed her? We still don't know who did it. This isn't over? Unless someone else is found guilty, the accused is still on trial. We can't let her walk until there is evidence that proves her innocence. No way. But this court isn't prepared for any further testimony. The prosecution is ready to call our final witness. But final witness? This one will clear up the whole mystery. The mystery of who killed Misty Faye. Indeed. Is it really alright, Mr. Prosecutor? Of course it's alright, Madame Attorney. Very well then. Who is this final witness? Ha! Isn't it obvious? There's one person who saw the whole event and will put the final dagger in this case. Someone who saw the murder take place? The very person who saw her mother killed right in front of her own eyes. You mean Maya? You can't. She can't testify after what she's been through. We need to find the truth. The prosecution calls Maya Faye to the witness stand. Oh, very well. But first, we'll take a brief recess. We'll have to wait for Miss Faye to recover before summoning her. Once we receive the doctor's permission, we will proceed with the trial. Hey, Trite, I've got something to say to you, so listen up. What is it? I don't think much of you as a lawyer. It's always the same with you. You somehow managed to just squeak by without even a faint understanding of the case. Some beautiful woman always seems to come dashing in at the last minute to save you. You've got some nerve. But that's not going to happen this time. This time, you're going to have to do this by yourself. That's enough. This court is now in recess. So who did it, guys? Who's the real murderer? I'm truly sorry about everything. You were working so hard to defend me, but I was missing all day and we didn't even have a chance to talk. She's right. When I met Iris at the training hall yesterday, they had already switched places, and Iris was inside the sacred cavern. I wanted to at least be in the defendant's box today to root you on. Well, it wasn't your fault. You were locked up this whole time. There's something more important than that, though. I have to ask you, why did you help your sister out as much as you did? Huh? If you had tried to get help at the sacred cavern yesterday, you wouldn't have spent an entire day locked up in there. My sister, I felt sorry for her. She was abandoned by our mother and never got any love from our father either. Yes, but it was the same for you too, wasn't it? Yes, but at least I had Sister Bikini, who was like a mother to me. If only Dahlia had come with me to Hasakura Temple. I always loved her. Dahlia was always so smart, so strong. She never complained about a thing. That's why I promised her that I would help her. Are you talking about the fake kidnapping case 11 years ago? Yes, I wanted to be useful to her in some way. But as usual, I was too cowardly. At the last minute, I ran away. Because of that, Dahlia's stepsister, Valerie, ended up... That was the case that wounded Mia so badly. But things didn't end there, of course. Some people suspected that my sister was involved in the murder. Some people? You must mean... Yes, 2 defense attorneys. Maya Fey and Diego Armando. After poisoning Mr. Armando, who was getting too close to learning the truth... Hang on a minute. Okay. Dahlia even tried to kill the person who had unknowingly hid the poison for her. You. That's right. Iris, there's one more thing that I have to ask you. Yes, what is it? On the night of the murder, the person that cleaned up the corpse of the victim, Elise Dunham, was it really you? Yes, it was me. That night after I rang the lights out bell, I went back to my room. At around 10:30, I received a call on my cell phone. Beep. There's a problem. Come to the inner temple right away. I got on the snowmobile and headed for the inner temple, but... The path to the inner temple was cut off, right? Exactly. We can't just leave the body here. So, you've got to do this exactly as I say. Got it? It was me. I was the one that received her body. The murder weapon had been left in her body so she wouldn't bleed too much. The staff that Mystic Elise always held? I knew it. So the actual murder weapon was the staff. Yes, that's right. I brought the body back to Hazakura Temple on the snowmobile. But why? Why did you alter the body? I didn't want anyone to know the staff was the murder weapon. I didn't want to leave anything that would lead back to Misty Fey. So I dressed her in a robe and stabbed her with the Shito. I whipped the blood off the staff's blade and left it next to her on the ground. Iris, just tell me one last thing. Tell me the name of the person that called your cell phone the real killer. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I can't do it. I can't say who did it. I see. Defendant? Yes? The judge is calling you. He wants you to see you in your chambers. He has some questions about Dahlia Hawthorne. All right. Well then, I'll see you later. There's something I want to tell you. Oh, okay. Something she wants to tell me? How's it going? It's going good, number 13 still. We're nearing the end now, the absolute ending. So it's true. Iris cooperated with the real killer. Maybe even from the very beginning. Phoenix? Mia! Mia? How is Maya doing? Physically, I'm not worried. She'll recover completely. But emotionally, she's been hurt very badly by this case. I see. You don't mean... She's learned who Elise Dunham really was? Yes, I went to the medical office and talked with her. I told her everything I knew. But why? Maya is stronger than you think. I knew she could take it. All of it. What do you mean by that? I want you to figure that out for your answer out for yourself. The trial is about to restart. The real killer? Do you know who it is yet? Iris wouldn't tell me who called her, but still, I think that just maybe, I know who it was. That night, the victim was killed in the garden of the inner temple, and the criminal wasn't just there by accident, which means that the killer knew of Dahlia's plans from the very beginning. And one more thing, the victim was moved to the Hazakura temple side by pendulum. In other words, the criminal couldn't cross the bridge. That means they were stuck on the inner temple side for almost an entire day. Exactly. So the culprit was someone that wasn't in Hazakura temple the following day. That's as much help as I can give you. The rest of the battle is yours to win or lose. Okay, I've got it. Thank you, Mia. Finally, it's almost time to bring this case to an end. What exactly did Maya see anyway? And who was it that actually killed Misty Fey? Whoever it was, I have to prove it. Me, all by myself. So who is it, guys? Number 13th, do you know? Mafia babe, do you know who it could be? The real murderer? Oh, this controller died. I gotcha. That's why. Pearly? Oh, it could be Pearly. It might be. The real murderer is Ultima? No! I was there! Now then, before we proceed any further, I'm going to announce the result of the test we had performed earlier. Test? Yes, test on the bloody dagger that was found stuck in the pine tree. Oh yeah, that. I totally forgot about it. That's the weapon that Maya Fey used when she fought with the victim. So what are the results? Was it the victim's blood or... Oh, thank you, number 13. Thank you again. You weirdo. I mean, you silly. I mean, you... Due to time constraints, a full test wasn't possible. However, there's only one thing that we can say with certainty. The blood that was on the dagger was not the victim's blood. That is all. Now then, let's restart this trial. So it wasn't Misty's blood on the dagger. Then whose was it? Huh. You're a silly weirdo. You are. I'm sure both the defense and the prosecution know this, but this trial is rapidly coming to a close. Both sides will need to show some firm evidence with their claims. I understand, Your Honor. From what I've heard, the witness is dangerously weak, physically speaking. So, let's finish this quickly. Agreed. Very well, please bring in the last witness. Witness, please tell us your name and profession. Maya Fey. My profession is, I'm the assistant manager of Wright & Co. at Wright & Co. law offices. Maya, according to the magazine I have here, you're a spirit medium of the Karain channeling technique. I'm frightened. The Fey clan, I don't want any more to do with it. Oh, Maya, the pain the Fey bloodline causes must be unbearable. It's Ultima's birthday? No, number 13th is always saying that. It's on November 11th. He's just being silly. Very well. Now then, Miss Fey. When the event occurred, you were in the garden of the Inner Temple, and you witnessed the moment of Miss Elise Dunham's murder. Is this correct? I didn't see anything. Straighten up the system, young lady. Huh? Pick your head up and speak clearly. There's always time for crying later. But Your mother was killed right in front of your eyes. There's nothing you can do to change that fact. But there's something you can do. You can finish this. You've been watching the whole thing, right? You've seen the witnesses coming out, and you've seen us squeeze the truth out of them. Now it's your turn. Let's hear your testimony. On the night of the crime, what exactly did you see happen? Yep, you've been fooled. By number 13th, no less. Witness, if you please. Yes, Your Honor. Alright, here we go. I was passing through the garden on the way to a spare prep room when it happened. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. I stumbled and ended up against the stone lantern. I think I screamed, "Help me!" Then something warm splashed over me. That's when I lost consciousness. So you were struck on the head. I suppose it must have been the staff. Maya, the person who hit you. It was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it? I'm sorry, Nick. I couldn't see. I don't know who it was. Maya, think hard. Sorry, Nick, but I really couldn't. Ha. Can't say it was an especially good night for young ladies to be walking around alone. It seems that it will be hard to determine the criminal through testimony alone. Very well then, Mr. Wright, please begin your cross-examination. Maya, hang in there. She doesn't look well at all. I know, Mafia babe. Maya's had a rough time of it. I was passing through the garden on the way to a spare prep room when it happened. Who else was on the Inner Temple side that night? Well, Sister Bikini, of course, but I remember her saying that Iris would be coming later as well. On the day after the incident, Edgeworth met Bikini at Hazakura Temple. That means she couldn't be the criminal. So it's not Bikini, guys. Sorry. Who is it then? So then, did Iris actually come later like she said? Well, let me think. She seems confused. It's probably because she's so tired. No, I'm sure I didn't see her. She must have come when I was preparing for the training. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. Who did it? Who hit you? Ah, well, I didn't see who it was. I was hit from behind. Didn't see the person? But after that, your attacker was in front of you. How could you not see who it was? Oh, let me think for a sec. I'm sorry, I just can't remember. Maya's really having a hard time. What should I do? Come on, Maya, this isn't making sense. Why didn't you see this person? Well, let me think. It was, oh yeah, that's right. It was dark, that's it. It was dark? It's not good to have too much light around when someone is undergoing spiritual training. Come to think of it, there was an earlier testimony to that effect as well. So it was dark in the garden on the night of the crime, which is why she didn't see her attacker. I thought maybe she was trying to hide something, but I guess not. Judging by the testimony thus far, the identity of the attacker was most likely the spirit that was channeled by Elise Dunham, Dahlia Hawthorne. Very well, please continue with your testimony. What happened after you were struck on the head? I stumbled and ended up against the stone lantern. What happened afterwards? My attacker was in front of me, blocking off my escape, I think. You think? After getting hit like that, I was in a state of panic. There was only two things rolling around in my mind at the time. Well now, this is beginning to get interesting. So what were the two things rolling around in your mind? My name is Maya Fey. 1 + 1 = 2. You see, for some crazy reason I was afraid I was going to lose my memory. You know, it's odd considering my life was in danger, but that's how it was. That's not odd at all. Your actions are understandable, given the circumstances. So, what did you do then? I think I screamed, "Help me!" You think you screamed, but you're not sure? Listen, I was a complete wreck. It was dark and I couldn't see my attacker. Was it a man, a woman, an adult, a child? I had no idea. I was scared out of my wits. Believe me, my dear, I'm certain I would have soiled my robes. I thought this person might attack me, so I, anyway, I'm pretty sure I screamed. I thought that it was my last hope. Wow, it sounds like poor little Maya was really out of her mind. But I wonder what she meant by last hope. What should I do? Should I press her for more details? What did she scream? My last hope. What do you mean your last hope, Obi-Wan? Wait a minute, Maya. Well, what's this my last hope stuff? What? What do you mean by your last hope? No, that's what you said. You said my last hope. Huh? What? I said what? Look, you were facing an attacker that you couldn't see and you screamed, right? You screamed, "Help me." Yeah. But you testified that you screamed at that because you thought it was your last hope. Oh, well, you know, that's like, what do you call it when that happens? Maya's not doing so well up there. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. I remember now. I was facing my attacker, but that's not who I was screaming at. What did you just say? Yeah, that's right. It was the person behind my attacker that I was yelling at. Ooh, that's who I was screaming for help. Ah! What is it now? I messed up. I didn't mean to let that slip out. Huh? But witness, are you absolutely sure of what you're saying? Behind the attacker, there was another person? I am. Well, I meant to keep that part a secret. Nah, what have I done? Ha. It takes a ton of pressure to make a diamond. That's what I always say. A ton of pressure. You're in a court of law here. You can't make things up or try to hide things in this chamber. Witness, the information you just presented is vital to the case. I want you to add it to your testimony. I could see a man behind my attacker by the light of the stone lantern. A man? A man? Who was this man? Well, you see, I couldn't see. You couldn't see? She used this excuse twice now. Well, you know, lantern light isn't very bright. Lantern light, did you say? There's a great big stone lantern in the garden. They always light it when an acolyte is there for training. Hey, you know what they say? Under the lantern, darkness reigns. So I could see the person that was further away, but not my attacker, who was closer. Plus, there weren't any other light sources in the garden at that time. Well, I guess, that's cool and all. But, do you guys remember something? The lantern from the inner temple garden was not lit the night of the crime. You hate pressure, you don't care to become a diamond, being a charcoal is just fine. I understand. Number 13th. So there was a man standing behind your attacker. Yeah. That man, he's the killer. He stabbed her from behind. This game is very sexist, isn't it? Only the men are killer in these games. Can you believe that, guys? Ugh. He's the one who killed Elise Dunham, otherwise known as Misty Fey, your mother. The killer. Maya, you know who killed your mother, don't you? So who do you think it is, guys? It's a man, apparently. I'll post this question to, Mafia Babe and number 13th. And maybe Hedgewolf, but I don't know. Yeah, you haven't been paying attention. Who do you think the killer is at this point? What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? To be frank, Your Honor, I think she is in shock and quite confused. That's why she hasn't noticed the huge problem with her testimony. Huh? What do you mean? What problem? Maya, on the night of the crime, that stone lantern was out of commission. Huh? What? You said it was pearly, but now you have some doubts. What do you think, Mafia Babe? If you're still here. It's true. There was no light anywhere in the garden that night. No! Someone male. Maybe someone male. Order! Order in the court! Mr. Godot, explain this! Add the pureness of milk to the perfect clear darkness of coffee. Stir. You think it's Larry, Mafia Babe? That's it. It's Larry. That's the one! That is the state of the witness's mind right now. A cup of café au lait. Café au lait? Is that even legal? That guy? Larry? It's Larry. Mr. Trite's words are this milk and you're the spoon, Your Honor. I'm a spoon? I'm no spoony bard, I'll have you know. You must have noticed it too, Trite. This witness's mental state is highly unstable right now. It's not hard to understand why she would make a little mistake like that. Spoony bard, yep. The judge has played Final Fantasy IV. Sorry, but that's not going to cut it. What did you say? If there truly was no light in the garden, then there's a fatal contradiction in the witness's last bit of testimony. Nick! May I? Recall the witness's statement about her attacker. She said that she didn't know if it was a man or a woman, an adult or a child. And yet, the witness could describe the person that was standing behind her attacker, and she quite clearly described him as a man. Ah! In other words, that would have been that Maya actually saw a mystery person, despite it being so dark that she couldn't see the face of her own attacker. No! Had bad memories? Oh no. I might stream that this year, number 13th, the 4th game of Final Fantasy. Order! What in the world does this all mean, right? Are you saying Miss Fey saw the real killer under pitch black conditions? Objection! Trite, do you have any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen in the dark? There was no other light source at the scene. Objection! There are some things that you can only see in the dark, Mr. Godot. Maya, you did see who the killer was in the dark, and now you're trying to cover for him. Cover? For the man that killed her mother? There's only one conclusion I can draw from this. You know who this man is. Please, Nick, I don't know anything. Please, stop. Cecil became a paladin, but then you lost, forgot to save. Aww. You gotta save often, number 13th. Ha. You talk a good game, Trite. Let's see if you can walk the walk. It was a pitch black, so what could the witness see? I'm gonna save the game real quick. I'm calling your bluff. No, Nick, don't! Please, stop! Maya's defending Larry right now. She's defending Larry the best she can. Maya is dead set on protecting this guy, the man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother. But I can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court. I'm here to find the truth. Alright, Mr. Wright, time to show us what you've got. Who was this person that you say Miss Faye saw in the darkness? Who could it be, guys? Who could it be? Who could it be? I know who it is. No, not Larry. It's actually... Because it was pitch black, Miss Faye was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see for itself how this is possible, yes? What? But how do you propose to show us something like that? It's easy. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night. Conditions? Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in this courtroom be turned off. What? This is... But it can't be! Ha. That was a nice bit of deduction. Trite. Well. Well, everyone, this is the man Maya saw on the night of the murder. Order! Prosecutor Godot, what is the meaning of this? Surely you must have been shocked to hear yourself accused of such a thing. Why aren't you denying it? Ha. Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person. What do you mean by that? If you've got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night? Was it 3 glowing red lights? Well, witness, answer the question. You're wrong. I never saw that. But Maya, I thought the person that stabbed my mother was a man for a totally different reason. What? The RoboCop guy? Yeah, it was him this whole time. Well, maybe. We're just accusing him for now. Stop the chattering, Your Honor. Chattering? If it's worth asking, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. All right. Well then, let's continue with the testimony. Please tell us how you knew the killer was a man. Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realize it until after I woke up, but... When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit, and the body was gone. And all the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up too. Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man. That's pretty sexist. You're saying a lady can't do all that stuff, Maya? Ugh. So it was after the crime took place that the witness came to think the killer was a man? Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Your Honor. No need to apologize. As Mr. Godot said, you're utterly exhausted. It's only natural that you would be a little confused. Also, if you consider the situation you described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume that the culprit was a man. Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination. The killer. When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. How many cups do you think the guy with the visor has broken? Not too many. I know he's drinking enough coffee to declare him legally dead at this point, though. He is drinking 17 cups of coffee at every single trial so far, so who knows at this point. So you lost consciousness when you were in the garden, is that right? Yes, I think it happened when the victim was stabbed. So then the person that carried you into the inner temple? It could only have been the killer. That's what I think too. So the killer carried Maya into the inner temple. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right? Yes, I think so. But why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide. I don't know. Looks like she doesn't have enough confidence. I think I need to gather some more information before I ask her again. What if the RoboCop guy is actually a human being? He definitely is. You just gotta learn about him a little bit more. The torches were lit and the body was gone. The torches were lit? They were lit? Lit them? Yes, that's how I noticed the whole thing had changed. I'm going to say it was the killer who lit the torches. I mean, who else could it be? The killer probably lit them since it'd be impossible to do any cover-up work in the dark. However, if that's true, there's only one thing that still bothers me. Why did the killer go into the effort of moving the body? That's true. It's hard to see how that would be of any advantage to the killer. The only one who would gain anything from that would be the only person that was at the inner temple, Maya. Very well. Let me hear some more about the condition of the crime scene. And all the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up too. Wick? Litwick? Haha. So you're saying the killer cleaned up the snow? It did look really odd. The snow was removed in an unnatural-looking rectangular shape around the lantern. There were a lot of shovels around the inner temple, but they're all really heavy, way too heavy for me to use. An odd fellow indeed, this killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow away? Well, there's one thing I can think of. Didn't you say that a lot of the victim's blood sprayed onto the snow? Yeah. The area collapsed in ended up being splattered. In other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. I think that's the most reasonable explanation. Perhaps. However, there's something that's bothering me. If the killer just wanted to hide the snow with the blood on it, then there was no need to remove that amount. That's true. He could have scooped up just the snow that was stained with blood. It looks like there are some mysteries behind this issue, but I think this will help explain them. Since the person did all that work alone and just assumed it was a man. Let's do this one again. Actually, the killer. Yes, I think so, but there must be... The truth is, when I saw the crime scene, I felt something. You did? Yes, I felt like the killer was hiding the evidence for me. For my sake. Hey Zero, what's up? Hiding it from you? Everyone knew that I was the only one at the inner temple that night. If Sister Bikini had come back and looked at the garden, she may have thought that you had done it. No, she definitely would have thought so. And you're saying that's why the killer cleaned up the crime scene to make it look like nothing had happened. Yes, I'm sure of it. Well, that's certainly an important piece of information. Want you to add that to your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. I think it was for my sake that the killer cleaned up the evidence of what had happened. Yeah. All for Maya's sake. Definitely. Especially when the killer left that on the lantern. The body of Elise Dunham was carried all the way to Hazakura Temple's courtyard. Then at the garden, the real scene of the crime, the snow that we suspect was covered in blood, was scooped up and removed. It's reasonable to believe that all this was done in an attempt to hide the true killer's crime. However, there's still one matter that seems somewhat odd. Oh, and what would that be? You must have figured it out by now, Mr. Godot. It's the message written in blood on the lantern. It was written very clearly on the white stone lantern. High five Zero. Good, D. Williams. High five. Maya. Ah! If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion, then why didn't they wipe the writing off the lantern? Ah, you're right. Order, order, order! But, Mr. Wright, isn't it a fact that the killer was trying to cover up the crime scene? Indeed, but it doesn't make much sense to move the body and remove the bloody snow, then not wipe the most indiscriminating thing of all, the bloody writing. But if that's the case, do you have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior? Why would this killer move the body and remove all that snow, but then leave the bloody writing on the lantern? I think you know, Captain Chips. I think you know. I don't know what the killer's plan was, but it's a fact that the killer left the writing on the lantern. There must be a reason for it. Well then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your opinion. Why did the killer leave the message written in blood on the lantern? It's because the killer wrote it to pin the crime on Maya. Yep. Idiot hasn't been able to see red on anything the whole game. Who's giving the robo guy all the coffee? The coffee fairy. Yep. Prosecutor Godot, earlier in this trial, you gave me some good advice. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Maybe you're not as dumb as I thought. The real killer wanted to disguise the fact that the crime had occurred there. If that's the case, they wouldn't have left such a bloody writing on that stone lantern on purpose. Therefore, it must mean that they didn't notice it. But that doesn't make any sense. The torches were all lit and everything. There's no way any normal person wouldn't miss something as glaring as that. You're right. There's no way any normal person would. What? What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright? There's only one person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing the bloody writing altogether. And who would that be? Who was the person that could have failed to notice the bloody writing? That's right. It's Larry! No, it's Godot still. They're leaning on the Sherlock Holmes quote. It is. There they are, rather. Can you have a coffee fairy? Sure. You have to see them, though, at a young age. And then they have to stick with you forever or something. Right? I don't know. I don't know the fairy rules. Mr. Godot, this is what you said yesterday. Remove the impossible and everything else must be I mean, my eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything. You can't see everything? Is that correct, Mr. Godot? This lantern was submitted as evidence today. I would like the court to think back to the moment it was first presented. This lantern? There's something written on it. Why, it's written in blood. Nonsense. This lantern, it's as clean as a whistle. Mr. Godot, just admit it. There are certain colors you can't see, correct? You can't see red on a white background, can you? That's right. We went through this once before, during the poisoning case at Très Bien. This is the apron the delightful Miss Bird was wearing at the time, and somehow spilled coffee on. There's something still bothering me, Mr. Godot. Why have you not explained the bloodstain to the court? Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be? Don't play games, prosecutor. The blood-colored stain that's smeared all over the apron. That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain. You could see the coffee on the white apron, but you couldn't see the ketchup, because it was red. Ha. It's strange. In a black and white photo, those letters would have appeared black to me. I wonder, why am I the only one that can't see them? So then, Mr. Godot, are you admitting it? Are you admitting that you can't see the red writing on the lantern? Hey, Gramps, didn't you know? That's the reason why I don't drink red tea. I wasn't sure about it until now, but I just can't believe it. Prosecutor Godot is the murderer, but there's no going back now. I finally figured out the truth. Mr. Godot, the defense at this time formally accuses you. You are the murderer of Miss Elise Dunham, also known as Miss Misty Fey. To be fair, Roibus is a really weird T. Roibus? Is that the name of it? It's hard to believe this may be true, however. Once again, Mr. Wright has brought up a disquieting fact about you. Ha. Just make sure you don't fill out the indictment in red ink, Gramps. Come on, how does a little graffiti make me into the killer? Besides, it's not like it's my name that's written there. It's red tea, oddly sweet. Very interesting. I'm certain that the killer wasn't able to see the color red. This is rich. Do go on, Shrite. The answer is right there at the crime scene. In the snow? The snow? How so? Well, for example, why did the killer move all that snow? Your Honor, you said it yourself. If he wanted to hide the bloody snow, why not just take out just that area? Yes, why didn't he just take out that area? Ah, could it be? Yes, the killer couldn't see the red blood that had seeped into the snow, and so he had to remove all of the snow. He couldn't be sure of where the blood had landed, so he removed the whole area. Isn't it more likely that the killer couldn't see the blood because it was dark? Not a chance. The torches were all lit. He would have been able to see just fine. It seems that once again, this trial has taken an unexpected turn, to say the least. Can you explain this, Mr. Godot? Do you need to see something to drink it? I bet Mr. Godot would want to see it. What he's drinking, at least. Who knows? But wait just a minute. Maya? What is it, witness? Mr. Godot isn't the killer. After all, he didn't even come to the inner temple until 2 days after the murder took place. He didn't even show up until after that old bridge got fixed up. Maya? You can't testify to something like that. Why? What do you mean? I might not look at the... Eek! After the murderer happened, you didn't even exist. She didn't... I'm afraid I don't follow. Are you senile, old man? We established this just a little while ago. After the murder, the witness was unconscious for a long time. Because he was channeling Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh, that's right. But please, Your Honor, let me add to my testimony. Nick, please, listen to me. Maya, do you plan to cover for Godot no matter what the cost? If that's the case, then I've got no choice. Your Honor, let's hear her testimony. If it means we're going to hear the whole truth, I'd say we should not silence her. Ha. Nicely done, Shrite. Mr. Wright, that seems to happen to you a lot. Yep. The changing of the pace of the courts. Very well, let's hear the witness's testimony. Please tell us what happened at the inner temple after the murder. Yes, sir. After I woke up, I began channeling, and my spirit left me, as it were. But little Pearlie was there at the inner temple there, too. After the incident, Pearlie was also stuck at the inner temple side that night. Next morning, she looked around but couldn't find anyone. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the inner temple for the first time. He found Pearlie first and cheered her right up. Who is this Pearlie? That's my little cousin, Pearl Fey. So when did you hear about this? Oh, just a while ago, when I was in the medical office. I'm terribly sorry. But what you have heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. What? Come on. Pearlie would never tell a lie. She's a way more honest person than I'll ever be. Real smart, Maya. You always know the best things to say when you're under oath. The prosecution has no objection. We believe the witness. But, Mr. Godot? Let's just move on to the cross-examination, if the defense has no objections. This is highly unusual, but... Well, Mr. Wright? Let's get this cross-examination started. Does Mr. Wright have an idea or something? An idea? Pearlie was also stuck in the inner temple side that night. So, where did you think Pearls slept that night? In the spare prep room right next to the training hall, I guess. There's a rule that you can't enter the training hall during an Acolyte's training. But even so, why did she go to the Inner Temple in the first place? It seems that Pearls became very worried about Maya. She knew that the spiritual training I was about to undergo was very intense. Pearls was supposed to channel Dahlia Hawthorne, but she couldn't do it. That's why she headed to the Inner Temple. However, Dahlia Hawthorne was already there, possessing the body of Elise Dunham. Why is she still called that? It's Misty Fey now. The next morning, she looked around but couldn't find anyone. She searched the entire Inner Temple side, and end to end? Well, you see, Pearlie gets pretty scared when she's alone, and there weren't that many places to look. She says that she even went back and forth several times. The Inner Temple side has two structures, the training hall and a spare prep room. And there's also a storage shack, I think. That's about it. There was a storage shack too? Pearls was looking for other people, right? Would she have really examined a storage shack all that carefully? Well, if it were me, that would be the first place I would investigate. So that means it's possible that someone may have been hiding in the storage shack. Oh. The next day when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. Pearls didn't hear the sound of them working on the bridge. What do you mean? I was just wondering why she would stay in the prep room. If it was me, I'd at least go out and wait for the foot of the bridge. Oh, well, Pearlie said she was sleeping at the time. She said she was so scared during the night that she couldn't sleep well and woke up a bunch of times. Poor little girl, all alone like that. Well, we know that she had at least one friend in the Sacred Cavern, Dahlia Hawthorne, who was busy battling with the trick lock. She couldn't let anyone see her, or she wouldn't have shown herself to Pearls. What happened after the bridge was finally fixed? That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the Inner Temple for the first time. So it was your first time on the Inner Temple side, Mr. Godot? That's funny. Am I imagining things, or did the defense ask me a question? Mr. Wright, please save your questions for the witness. What you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. Those are your words, Your Honor. Touché, Mr. Wright. Oh well. What do you have to say, Mr. Godot? Hot nights and even colder coffee, or hotter coffee. That's what I always say. If it hadn't have been for this case, I never would have visited there. A freezing cold temple in the mountains? I think I'll pass. So we had never visited Haruzakura Temple or the Inner Temple, huh? Ha. You want to say something trite? In any case, I have to find a crack in Godot's armor. While I cross-examine Maya, that is. Very well, please go on with your testimony. After fixing the bridge, the policemen came over to the Inner Temple side, right? Yes, then Mr. Godot. He found Pearlie first and cheered her right up. He cheered her up? That's what Pearlie said. She said she was a very nice older gentleman. Thank you for looking after my cousin, Mr. Godot. And here I was thinking you were nothing more than a coffee addict. Ha. Cut it out. You're making me blush. This guy's really beginning to get on my nerves, in more ways than one. The truth is there aren't that many places to look on the Inner Temple side. The policemen were all busy going over the garden with fine-toothed combs, so I decided to carry out an investigation in my own way, Godot style. I'm the same way. I like to hand down verdicts in my own way, judge style. Maybe I should ask some questions Phoenix style. Godot's investigation. It said that you conducted an investigation of your own. Did you find anything? It looks like my investigation went about as well as yours, Trite. After all, I did miss the bloody writing on the lantern. Well, I didn't miss it, so speak for yourself, Goggles. The only odd thing I discovered was the beauty in the training hall. Beauty? Misty Fey, naturally, clad in her stunning Japanese garb surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes. Western tastes? Could he find a stranger way to describe gravy? So from there you headed for the prep room? Wait a sec. What did Godot just say just now? I think I just found his proverbial weak spot. There's only one thing of any importance here. Where was Godot when the murder was taking place? Must have been already at the Inner Temple when it happened. Otherwise, he couldn't have killed Elise Dunham. Well, guys, do you see the contradiction? Oh, whoops. Arrived at the Inner Temple for the first time. Godot, how did you know that was Misty Faye? It looks like this. This is twisted, Mr. Godot. The first time you crossed Dusky Bridge and went into the Inner Temple was long before the murder took place. What? Why did you say that? Because he just made one fatal slip-up. The hanging scroll in the training hall. Hanging scroll? But... Mr. Godot is right. The scroll shows a picture of my mother. Maya, I know you know who it is, but here's something you didn't know. By the time the bridge had been repaired 2 days after the murder, the hanging scroll in the training hall looked like this. What's that wonderfully delicious smell? I don't know, would it be delicious at this point, or would the gravy be, like, rotten and spoiled? The morning after the crime, someone covered it with gravy. Gravy? But why gravy, Nick? Because gravy was much more than a condiment to the culprit. Well, Mr. Godot, if you really hadn't seen the hanging scroll until after the murder, you wouldn't have had any way of knowing that it was Misty Faye. Rotten gravy and dry. Very interesting. Wait a minute, Nick. Yes? Take another look at the hanging scroll. Look at the top. There's a crest there. Ah, that. It's the mark of the master, correct? Exactly. So if you knew the meaning of the mark, then you could guess it was a picture of Misty Faye on there. True, but Mr. Godot described what was underneath like this. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes. Oh. Yes, it's possible that he knew what the crest meant. However, he couldn't have known that she was wearing Japanese clothing. Mr. Godot, on the day of the murder, you were hiding at the Inner Temple long before the crime took place. Can I ask you just one little thing, Trite? What is it? This whole theory of yours, it all rests on a certain assumption that I knew beforehand that a crime was going to be committed. That's right. Otherwise, there's no reason for him to sneak out into the crime scene. Of course Mr. Godot knew about the plan. Huh? What did you say? Is it really possible that another person knew of the plan? Oh god. This is where I'm going to, botch it. Or maybe not. Orders from Morgan Fay. Opened once before. This crime was actually planned over a year ago. Morgan Fay authored the plan for her daughter's future, and these instructions were hidden somewhere in the Fay Manor for a year. However, by the time little Pearls found these instructions, they had already been unsealed. Unsealed? Yes, the killer had read these instructions long before Pearls ever found them. That's how he knew the crime was to take place at the Inner Temple. And you still insist that this crafty killer is me? You bet I do. But you just said that the instructions were hidden. That's right. Mr. Godot couldn't have known where the instructions were hidden. If he really wanted to know, he had one great chance to find out. Yes, and when was that? During a visit. A visit? Morgan Fay told her daughter Pearl about where the instructions were hidden. During one of her visits to the detention center. That would be the only time for someone to have learned where they were hidden. Eavesdropping on a visit at the detention center? Yes, it could be arranged if you were someone with easy access in and out of there. Like, for example, a prosecutor such as Mr. Godot. You're sleepy? Aw, I'll see you later, Mafia babe. Have fun with the rest of the case. I'll finish it tomorrow night. Alrighty. I'll see you tomorrow then, Mafia babe, with more shenanigans. Take care! Order! Mr. Godot, you're under fire again! This murder cannot have been carried out without prior knowledge, and you were the only one that could acquire this information from before the murder. Gulp. Humans are afraid of the dark, and yet, at the same time, we're fascinated and bewitched by it. Maybe that's why humans drink the darkness that is coffee. Sorry for always asking, but what does that mean? It means there's a reason for everything. According to your theory, the killer in this case eavesdropped on a conversation during a jail visit when he learned of a hidden plan for a crime. After discovering the plans, he hid in the inner temple and waited for the crime to occur. And he ultimately took a person's life. And he did all of that just to protect this witness? That's right. If you're accusing me of this crime, I have to ask you, why would I do this? This girl is nothing but a stranger to me. I've got no reason to go through that kind of trouble to protect her. I am what you see. I am what you see. I am certainly not the type to rescue the damsel in distress. The killer's behavior is certainly extreme, for lack of a better word. Even considering that the killer wanted to protect this witness's life, his behavior is still a little too unnatural. However, you had a good reason, didn't you, Mr. Godot? An unshakable reason that forced you to protect this witness at all costs. I knew it. You figured it out, haven't you, Nick? Maya, I guess you were doing your best to cover for Godot. For the same reason, huh? Okay, Trite, I'm all ears. Let's hear it. It's very simple. Maya Fey is a lot more than just a stranger to you. What's this? There's one person who lies at the very center of this whole story. One person that ties you and Maya Fey together inextricably. That would be none other than... Mia. There's a very good reason why Maya Fey's life is so precious to you. After all, she is Mia Fey's only sister. Mia Fey. You once worked alongside her. That was when you were a defense attorney. What? Wait a second here. Mr. Godot is a defense attorney? With your honors-piercing intellect, you must have figured it out by now. The real name of this man who calls himself Godot. His real name is Diego Armando. Isn't that right? The last time someone called me by that name was over 6 years ago. Diego Armando! That name rings a bell. It should, Your Honor. All of this is related to a single case. A case in which a convict named Terry Falls killed himself. Mia Fey's first time in court, the tragic outcome left a deep wound in her heart. She knew that behind it all was a heartless, scheming demoness in disguise. But in the end, Mia couldn't tear off that disguise. However, it was one man who reached out to help her. Diego Armando, a senior defense attorney at the office where Mia worked. It's my fault. It's all my fault that Mr. Falls killed himself. Mia, you can't cry yet. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. I was moved by her. The way she put all her faith in her clients, that pure sweet heart of hers. That's why I could never forgive Dahlia Hawthorne. Mia and I thoroughly investigated that fake kidnapping incident. Then one fateful day, Dahlia wanted to meet with me. It had been 6 months since the trial. We met in the courthouse cafeteria. Ah, I just remembered. 6 years ago, right here in this courthouse, you were poisoned. Even I didn't see it coming. Dahlia Hawthorne slipped some poison into my coffee. Some newspapers at the time called it a murder, but very little information about the case was released to the press. But you weren't dead at all. No official reports ever actually called it a murder. I was just in a deep, deep coma. I see. My body shut down, and my life became nothing but a long, deep sleep. That woman poisoned at a real number on my central nervous system. I lost my sight, and all of my hair turned white due to the damage it caused. That's terrible. Apparently, it was a miracle that I ever regained consciousness. 5 years had passed since I drank that poison brew. And one morning, my eyes flew open from the smell of a doctor's cup of coffee. 5 years? You were asleep for 5 years? And the worst possible news was waiting for me. Mia Fey was dead. From the very moment I opened my eyes, I had already lost everything I thought I had. The woman I loved had been murdered, and the woman I loathed has been sentenced to death. The woman you loathed? The woman who had spiked my scalding hot coffee, Dahlia Hawthorne. Ha! Good old Mia. She didn't let me down. She got her revenge before she checked out. In the end, there wasn't anyone waiting for me when I woke up. That's so sad. For someone like me, for someone who had slept away their best days, there were only 2 reasons left to live, and it was for those 2 reasons that I decided to become a prosecutor. If I may ask, what were your 2 reasons to live? The first was you, trite. Huh? Me? If I hadn't drank that stupid poison, Mia Fey would never have died, much less the way she did. You were the only one who was there to protect her, but you let her die. It was all your fault. It wasn't like that. I wanted to see for myself what kind of a man you really were. So that's why you became a prosecutor. The other reason for living, she goes by the name of Maya Fey. Huh? You mean me? You were the only way I could make up for the sin of not saving Mia. 1 year ago, when the Kareen Village incident was resolved, it was obvious that Morgan Fey was planning something. Whatever her evil plan was, I was determined to stop it. My role as a prosecutor put me in the perfect position to do something about her. That's how you overheard Pearls' visit with Morgan at the detention center. I knew that the time was drawing near. Since I knew the plan, I thought I could foil it. My goal was to outwit the plan. I thought if I could do that, I could keep that girl from being caught up in it. That makes sense. If Pearls had known that the actual purpose of the plan was to kill Maya, she never would have helped us. She never would have helped out. Finally, the day of the plan was drawing near. I contacted both of my accomplices. Accomplices? Iris of Hazakura Temple and Misty Fey. I especially needed the help of Iris. She was to take the fall in my backup plan in case we couldn't control Pearl Fey. But, how did you contact my mother? She had been missing for almost 20 years. Officially, yes. What? What do you mean, officially? You've heard about it, haven't you? About the strong ties between the main family and the government? Now that you mention it, Bikini did say something to that effect. She said that the Master of Kareen had great authority. Even without her official position, Misty Fey still wielded great influence. The police had been keeping an eye on her movements all this time. That's how I was able to contact her. Again, because of my position as a prosecutor. So my mother was cooperating with you? Don't ever forget, no matter how far away from you she was, she never stopped thinking about you. She was always... That's why I knew she would do anything to protect you. If you want to know how strong her resolve to protect you was, look at her staff. Her staff? The one with the sword in it? The day the plan was to be carried out arrived soon enough. We met for the first time at Hazakura Temple. That's when your mother showed me her special staff. I realized it then, just how far she was willing to go. She was ready to use that sword to protect you from Morgan Fey if necessary. Yes, even if it meant paying the ultimate price. But, Mother... That night, the night of the crime, there was just one way to stop Morgan's evil plan. You mean Pearls, don't you? We had to make sure she didn't channel Dahlia Hawthorne. Well, Pearl, what are you going to do tonight? Well, if you'd like, you can come to my room. Perhaps we can read some books together. We thought we could prevent her from playing her part in Morgan's plan, but she never showed up. She was worried and followed me to the inner temple. That was the thing we were most afraid of. And that's why Misty Fey had to do the channeling herself. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne into her own body. What? What do you mean? That she channeled the spirit first, that Pearls wouldn't be able to do it herself. As Master of Khura'in, Misty Fey's power was supreme, so that's how it went down. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne so that Pearl Fey wouldn't be able to. Ah! Ah! What? Is this true? My role in the plan was to make sure no one was going to hurt Maya Fey. That's why I hid myself at the inner temple, just in case you needed to be saved from Dahlia Hawthorne. Godot. Anyway, that's all I'm going to admit to. Trite. Huh? There's no doubt about it. You're a great defense attorney, but you're going to have to do the rest yourself. The background leading up to this incident has been laid bare. There's just one question remaining, Mr. Wright. Who killed the victim? There are only two possible suspects right now. Maya Fey, and I'm sad to say, you, Mr. Godot. Well, Trite, if you're the real deal, then finish this thing once and for all. Show us beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can finish this on your own. No, Nick, please don't. Maya, I heard the whole thing from my sister in the medical office. That's why I have to protect Mr. Godot. I can't do it. I can't testify against him. After all, he's the man who put his life on the line to protect Mia, and me too. Maya, I know that. Nick. But even so, it doesn't absolve him of his crime. Please, Maya, testify. Miss Fey, your testimony, please. The victim herself. It was, at least Dunim who killed herself. That's the truth. This is the final testimony. Don't bother trying to hide anything, because I'll know. I want to hear the truth from your own lips. I understand. I'm sure you're right. I'm ready now, Nick. All right, young lady. Tell us about the moments before you lost consciousness. What exactly happened at the time of the murder? The time of the murder. Just before it happened, I think I saw some red lights. 3 of them. I thought I'd ask for help, but just then I was splattered with blood. She wasn't dead though, and she struck back at the enemy behind her. So suddenly, the red lights went out and the whole area was dark. Just at that moment, there was a horrible scream! But after that, Dahlia collapsed and I lost consciousness. These red lights. I thought you said you didn't remember seeing them. I'm sorry. I thought I saw them, but then they disappeared all of a sudden. Ha. Things break, Trite. Even the best of theories. Who was it that stabbed Misty Fey? It looks like you still can't prove it. Maya is telling the truth this time, I know it. The rest is up to me. Well then, Mr. Wright, proceed with your final cross-examination of the witness. And the final cross-examination of the game. And the trilogy. Wow. Just before it happened, I think I saw some red lights. 3 of them. Lights shining in the dark? I don't think you can make a mistake about that. Yeah, you're right. I think I saw them, but I can't say for certain. And I can't tell you for sure that they were from Mr. Godot's mask either. I don't get the feeling she's covering for him anymore, but just after that, you turned towards the lights and called for help. Isn't that because you thought the lights were coming from Mr. Godot's mask? Yeah, I guess so. Maybe that's what I was thinking at the time. But I can't remember. After all, there was a person I couldn't identify in front of me. Maya's life was in terrible danger at the time. There's no way she can remember the details of the scene perfectly. Alright then, let's go on with the testimony. What did you do when you saw the red lights? Thought I'd ask for help, but just then I was splattered with blood. Ew. That blood. Was it Dahlia Hawthorne's blood? I think so. Probably. Just at that moment. I heard a soft scream that seemed to be close by. It was a woman's voice. So that was when the killer stabbed the victim from behind with a murder weapon. Is that right? Without a doubt, Maya was in the middle of a really dangerous situation. Anyway, the victim was stabbed by the murder weapon. What happened after that? She wasn't dead though, and she struck back at the enemy behind her. Struck back? How do you know that? Well, you're right. I didn't see it exactly, but I could tell by the sound of their breathing and movement, and also the smell of blood. You have witnessed more horror than any young lady should have ever have to in one life. So then, what did you do at that point? I couldn't move. I could just barely make out their shadows moving in the dark. But I had no idea what to do. Could you still see the red lights you mentioned earlier? Yes, I think so, but... Suddenly, the red lights went out and the whole area was dark. They went out? Yes, suddenly I couldn't see them at all. What could it mean? If the red lights were coming from Godot's mask, and they went out right in the middle of a fight, maybe the mask was damaged. Or maybe it was knocked off. Or maybe the batteries ran out. Right. Or maybe those little red pinhead-looking lights just stopped working. What could have really happened then? Just at that moment, there was a horrible scream. What do you mean by just at that moment? Do you mean the moment when the red lights went out? Yes, that's right. The scream that you heard then, was it Dahlia Hawthorne? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it was a man's voice. What? So then, that scream came from the killer? That's got to be it. I think Dahlia Hawthorne must have taken the blade and attacked the killer with it. And then the killer let out a scream of pain, huh? After that, the killer stole the blade back and delivered the final blow, I guess. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems to make sense to me. It sounds like a reasonable deduction, but I'm still kinda wonder. Just pause real quick. I'm sorry to say this, but the interpretation of would create an enormous contradiction. That makes sense. After all, my deductions are always almost certainly never correct. Remember the testimony she just gave before the killer let out a scream? Maya said she had already been splattered by the victim's blood. In other words, the blade and the staff had already been plunged into the victim. Ah, is that right? When is the builder's... Oh. When is the builder's stream? I don't know, Zero. When is the builder's stream? It's tomorrow. Self-defense? Maybe. Perhaps. She couldn't have struck back with the sword that was already stuck in her body. The weapon that caused the killer to let out a scream must have been something other than the staff. If you're so sure about that, then don't keep us waiting any longer, trite. There's only one thing I can think of that could have been used as the weapon here. If Dahlia Hawthorne had already been stabbed at the back by the staff, what could she have used to strike back at the killer? How about this knife? Dagger. Naturally, the dagger the killer brought to the scene of the crime. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. This dagger was found at the crime scene, stuck into a pine tree. Yes, the detective found that this morning and brought it to me. Dahlia Hawthorne struck back at the killer with this, and she managed to wound him as well. Just because he let out a scream doesn't mean that he was wounded. For all we know, the blood on the dagger could have been from the victim. The Dragon Quest Colin Builders 2 stream will start in 12 minutes. That is an Ultima 395 promise. Nice try, Zero. You silly, goofy goober you. Have you already forgotten that the blood has already been tested? Since we learned that it wasn't the victim's blood, it must be the killer's blood. The killer must have a wound somewhere on his body. 12 minutes, you ready? Alright, let's go. Stream for this game cancelled, I guess, eh? So, you're saying the blood on this dagger belongs to the killer? Exactly. A DNA analysis of the blood would prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. And yes, Mr. Godot, it would prove that it's your blood. Nice theory, trite. Order in the court! Is this the end? Have I done it? Even he won't be able to change the result of a scientific test. Ha. Let me ask you something, Trite. Let's just say that it turned out that I was the killer. Do you really think I would be stupid enough to leave evidence like that? What? Just think for a second. This dagger was found this morning by a detective and brought to me. There was already blood on it, correct? But even so, I was the one who brought this dagger here to the courtroom. Yes! What does that prove? Well, if I really were the killer, I couldn't have washed the blood off and planted another person's blood on it. It can't be. In any case, there's one thing I can guarantee, Trite. That blood, it doesn't belong to me. Not a chance. What? In any event, it seems that to be established that the killer was wounded. Alright then, witness, continue your testimony. Well, wait a minute. What's the problem? I know I probably shouldn't say this, but there's a big contradiction in Nick's explanation. Maya? This dagger, you said that it wounded the killer. That's right. But, if Mr. Godot had really been cut with the dagger, his clothes should be bloody or have a rip in them, right? Maya? Maybe he just changed his clothes. That'd solve the contradiction pretty easily. What are you talking about? It's not that simple at all. Remember back to the day of the murder? Everyone that was on the inner temple side got trapped there. Ah, that's right. And once the bridge was fixed and the police headed for the inner temple, Mr. Godot was already there waiting for them. He never had a chance to change his clothes. Act! Well... Order in the court. What the witness says is true. Well, maybe he brought a change of clothes with him. But no one could have predicted the lightning strike that shut down the bridge. Why would anyone have brought a change of clothes? Nah, did Dutch just take smart pills during the last recess? Well then, maybe the killer took off his clothes before he committed the murder. That way he wouldn't get any blood on them. That's impossible, Trite. You know how cold it gets up there late at night. Eh? After a few minutes with no clothes on, you'd be frozen solid. Ah! Ha. So that's all you've got? I knew you weren't tough enough to finish this. Irk! Right now, if Mia Fey were here, she would have closed the book on this case already. If Mia Fey were here... So come on, Trite, can you do it or not? How about it, Mr. Wright? You've accused Mr. Godot of being the killer. What do you think, guys? What do you think is the answer to this mystery? But can you prove it? Have you got even one piece of evidence? The question isn't whether I can prove it or not. The fact is, I have to prove it. That's the only choice I have. I was taught that it's one of the rules of being a lawyer. Hey, Ace! Welcome to the stream. Ace, you're right at the end of this game. So enjoy the show, my friend. But yeah, I hope you're doing good. I can prove it. I'm going to bring your magnificent vengeance to fruition, just as you want it. It's the old music! Blank is the killer? Blank? Ha, that's good. A fighter to the bitter end, Trite. Since there's just one piece of evidence that can prove your point, why don't we go for the unlimited penalty? Are you trying to pressure me, Mr. Godot? Because it doesn't matter to me. I've got the one piece of evidence I need. Give me a break. You've got nothing, Trite. So what do I do at a time like this? It's simple. I've got to think outside the box and approach this from a different angle. Alright then, Mr. Wright, let's hear what you've got. Alright, sorry, I'll save here now. There's only one thing I've just demonstrated in the previous cross-examination. The killer was wounded. That was proven by the blood on the dagger. But, we decided that it was impossible for him to have such a wound. If he had been cut by a dagger, then there should have been a bloodstain on his clothing. There's no one place. One place the killer could have hidden his wound. What did you say? Hidden? This is it. My last stand. I need to think about this from a different angle. I don't need to think about why there's no bloodstains on his clothing. I need to show how he hid the wound. It's the end of the line. The final stop, Trite. Let's hear what you've got. Where is this location you say the killer hid his wound? Godot hid his wound with my attorney's badge. Ha. I don't know what you're talking about, and frankly, I don't need to know. What I do know is that you'll never be half the lawyer she was. Isn't that right, Trite? Well, looks like you've proven one thing, that you're nothing but a fake. Wait a minute, give me one more chance. I don't think so, a promise is a promise. Ha, it was fun while it lasted. See you later, Trite. Aww. That's enough. This court sees no reason to further prolong this trial. Nor is there any need for more time to decide the case against the defendant. The case is extremely clear, no more interpretation declared on the defendant. Guilty. Hey, Quartz One. Welcome to the stream. Sadly, I lost the game, Quartz One, so everything's over. But yeah, welcome to the stream. I hope you are doing good. I know where he hit it, guys. Where do you think he hit it, Captain Chips? Where do you think he hit the wound? I'm gonna get a drink of water real quick. Tell me your opinion. I'm going to get a drink. He hid it behind the gravy. Oh, you're saying he used the gravy to hide the wound? Oh, that's a good idea.
Take that!
You got distracted. Damn. Well, Mr. Godot hid the wound. Right there. Ha. I don't know what you're talking about, and frankly, I don't need to know. What I do know is that you'll never be half the lawyer she was. Isn't that right, Trite? Oh! What was that just now? Mia? It can't be. You're living on through him? Even as we speak, you're still hiding the wound. It's beneath your mask. During the fight, the red lights given off by the killer suddenly disappeared. Seconds later, the killer let out a scream. That's right, your mask went flying off your face. Mr. Godot, would you mind removing your mask? If you have a dagger wound under there somewhere, then I'd say this whole case is solved. Arrgh! Phoenix doing channeling of his own. Something like that. We did it! Maybe. Yep. Just now, I saw her spirit in you. I never liked you. 6 years ago, you helped the woman who put me to sleep by hiding her bottle of poison. And then, while I was sleeping, you let Mia die. But you didn't care. You just kept living your pathetic, happy-go-lucky life. You even had the nerve to follow in her footsteps as a lawyer. I could never forgive you. That's what I thought. Mr. Godot. But I was wrong about you. I knew it from the very beginning. The truth is, the only person I could never find it in my heart to forgive was me. You yourself? I was the one that failed to protect Mia. Me and no one else. I tried to avert my eyes from the truth to escape from the harshness of reality. I just couldn't face Mia's death head-on, so I ran. I hid behind a mask, I threw away my true name. I couldn't even deal with being a defense attorney anymore, so I quit. But, you saved Maya. Yeah, that was my plan. Up until just now, anyway. What do you mean? Are you listening, Maya? If I had really wanted to save you, then there's one person that I should have gone and talked to right away. But who would that be? Are you talking about Nick? But I didn't do it. I tried to get the help of Iris and your mother, but I closed my eyes to the most important man involved. Do you know why? The real reason? No, why? I suppose I wasn't really interested in saving you at all. Huh? I think I was just trying to salvage what's left of my own broken soul. I was trying to make up for the fact that I couldn't save Mia. Nothing more. Should Mr. Mess go to the hospital, or is it but a flesh wound? We'll see. We'll see. That's why I let you walk right into a situation that I knew was dangerous. Forgive me. You're wrong. You put your life on the line to save Maya. Was it really for Maya's sake? Even I'm not really sure. What do you mean by that? That night, in the darkness of the garden, when I saw her silhouette, a part of me must have known the truth. The truth that it wasn't really Dahlia Hawthorne standing there in front of me. It could have been Misty Faye, or even that little girl, but I still picked up the blade. It was like I was dreaming. I'm not sure exactly what was going on in my mind at that point. Was I really motivated by the pure desire to protect Maya Faye? Or was it something else? Was it my hatred for a woman who had stolen everything from me 6 years earlier? Could it have been simply a desire for revenge? And now, I don't know anything anymore. I did learn something today, however. I finally realized that I was the arrogant one. I was just chasing an illusion, a fantasy, the stupid fantasy of defeating you in the courtroom. You were the one who made me realize my folly. You never ran away from Mia's death. Instead, you picked up where she left off, as a true defender of the people. In that one moment, I understood everything. Mr. Godot. I think you already know this, but if you don't, my name is Diego Armando. Mr. Armando, I believe in you. I know you were trying to save me. Oh, ha. Thanks. Your wound, it's bleeding. Ha, did you forget already? In my world, the color red doesn't exist. These must be my tears. Tears? Ever since I woke up from my coma, I think I've been waiting for this very moment. But, Mr. Armando... You do well to remember this, Maya. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. So where would Godot be on the Kill This Man list, guys? Well, and thank you, username I can't read, actually. Thank you so much for following. WNS something or other. But thank you for following. But yeah, Captain Chips, where's Godot on the Kill This Man? Low. He's complicated, but he's not hateable. No siree. Very, very low. You're welcome. Yeah, thank you so much. If there's a proper name you want me to call you, let me know, okay? This time, it really is all over, isn't it? Defendant? Yes, Your Honor. Although you weren't directly involved in the murder, tampering with the body and the crime scene is a serious offense in itself. I understand, Your Honor. Mr. Armando explained that to me very carefully. I knew the risk and I willingly cooperated anyway. Very well. Before I hand down my verdict, is there anything you'd like to say? Well, there is one thing. I'd like to say something to Mr. Wright. Are you ready for one more bombshell announcement, guys? I want to apologize to you. Apologize? To me? For what? For the case 5 years ago, of course. You don't think it's red as the color tears should be? I don't know. Maybe in some cases. Like if a strawberry was crying or something. I mean, I just remembered. Weren't you poisoned by your own lover? Not exactly, but yeah, something like that. Even now, 5 years later, I can hardly believe it. She was going to do it. She was planning to kill me. It's not all that surprising. The two of you hardly knew each other. Huh? What do you mean? You and my sister? You only met twice. Huh? What? We only met twice? The first time you met was on that fateful day. The day she poisoned Mr. Armando in the cafeteria of this very courthouse. The next time you met her was 8 months later. You met her again on the day that she stole your cold medicine. And Doug Swallow was killed. No way! It can't be true. I mean, during our whole relationship, we were... For those 8 months, the woman that you thought was Dahlia Hawthorne wasn't actually my sister. Huh? It wasn't Dahlia? I hope one day you can forgive me, Feeny. You mean... That's right. I lied to you for 8 months. Shut up! But why? Why would you do such a thing? Ever since she gave you the bottle that day, my sister was trying to get it back as soon as she possibly could, because of the police investigation and their surveillance. She couldn't move about freely. So that's why my sister, from the beginning, she was prepared for the worst. Prepared for the worst? She thought that you might somehow discover the truth. That's why she was always ready to deal with you at a moment's notice. You mean she was ready to kill me, don't you? She already had so much to answer for, and I didn't want any more sins on her soul. I begged her not to do it, and she agreed to give me a chance. And that's why you came to me? You came to get the bottle pendant back from me in her place? But I couldn't get you to give it back. I failed at something even as simple as that. 8 months passed and I still couldn't get it back from you. Finally, my sister couldn't wait any longer. She didn't consult me about her plans for you that day. It was the first time that had ever happened. That was a bit strange, wasn't it? Up until that day, you two were partners in crime, and she would confer with you. I think she must have noticed. Noticed what? My feelings for you. If I had found out she was planning to kill you, I would have done whatever it was necessary to stop her, even if it meant her life. Or mine. Iris. After spending those 8 months by your side, my feelings toward you, they changed. I have something to say to you, too. Yes? You really are the person I always thought you were. Even after Dahlia Hawthorne was found guilty, I still believed in you. Thank you. How many cups of darkness have I drank over the years? Even I don't know. I'll tell you though, right now, this one here is the greatest cup I think I've ever had. I know, right? Hedgewolf? Don't you think so? Phoenix Wright? Yeah, I think you're right. The purpose of this trial was to rule out the murder of the victim, Elise Dunham. At some point, I expect you will be tried for your role as an accomplice in this case. I understand, Your Honor. Very well. On the charge of murder, I hereby find the defendant not guilty! Court is now adjourned. No confetti this time. So I guess it's all over. The way everything ended, was justice really served? The man who risked his life to save Maya is being sent to prison by my own hand. Of course justice was served. Mia! I'm proud of you, Phoenix. Your defense was truly brilliant. But I couldn't save Mr. Armando, the man who cared so deeply for you. You're wrong, Phoenix. You did save Diego. You saved him in the only way possible. You mean, with that verdict? I think one day you'll understand too. Phoenix, I want you to remember one thing. You were as good out there today as any defense attorney could ever hope to be. There's nothing more you can learn from me. Mia? You've accomplished something I wasn't able to. I owe you a great deal. Thank you. Mia, I'm sure we'll meet again. Someday, Phoenix. I've handled lots of cases and seen lots of things. And along this journey, I found myself asking just one question. What does it really mean to defend someone? I suppose today's case produced one possible answer. Nick. Maya. I guess it's just like my sis said. Mia? What did she say? That night when I channeled Mia to get her advice on what to do, this is what she wrote back in my notebook. Don't worry, Phoenix will save everyone in the end. But, come on, cut it out with that gloomy face. Can't you see? Me, sis, and I'm sure Iris too. We owe you for everything you've done for us, Nick. Maya, how? How can you be so bright and chipper after all that's happened? You were brutally attacked. You even saw your mother murdered. Youch! Franziska! Still as softy as always, Phoenix, right? Excellent work, right? Huh? Mr. Edgeworth? When did you get back? Oh, that's right. I guess no one filled her in on that. Edgeworth and Franziska have actually been helping me. Helping you? If these two hadn't been here on the first day of the trial, the defense wouldn't have gotten anywhere. Wow, but where were you, Nick? I heard he fell into a river and caught a nasty cold which forced him to sleep all day. Yes, he laid in bed shivering from his fever with Iris's hood pulled over his head. Oh, ouch. Talk about embarrassing, Nick. You definitely need more training. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. And you too. Franziska? I don't suppose... There's room for me in this group hug, is there? Oh, Larry. What's with the, longer than usual face? I realized something when I was reborn. I realized that Larry was never of any use to anyone, not even once. That's not true, right, Nick? What? You're asking me? Well, Nick, is it true? I've got a place in this world, right? Huh? Oh, yeah, of course. I knew it. Everyone would be better off if I were gone for good. No. Oh yeah, those portraits you painted, they were really good. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? What? Me? Why are you making that face, huh, Edgy? Oh, well, yes indeed. I certainly can't say that they lacked resemblance. Do you really mean it? What about you, Franzi? Did I draw you well too? Wah! My beauty can't possibly be captured by a mere crayon. Glare. Nevertheless, I recognize the effort you put into it, and that's worth something. So then you'll do it, like you promised? You'll go into model for my next picture book, Franzi's Whippity Whip Trip? Ah! Don't get carried away. Well, how about that? I guess painting portraits is the only thing I'm good at. The painting of Pearl was pretty darn good too, if you ask me. Huh? Now that you mention it, I haven't seen her around. Pearls? Where could she have gone? Normally she would have made a beeline for Maya. Oh, I'll go look for her. Be right back. Hey, Pearly! Right. You seem to be uncharacteristically puzzled. I suspect that you are wondering how Maya can be so cheerful despite all that has happened. Yeah. To be honest, I can't understand it either. Franziska. That's right. She lost her father fairly recently as well. I think I understand how she feels. Maya is a much wiser person than she appears, and I think she realizes something. Now is exactly the time when she needs to be as strong as she can. What do you mean by now is exactly the time? Maya wasn't the only one that was badly wounded by this incident. In fact, there was someone that was hurt far more deeply than she. I believe it's for that person that Maya is trying her best not to cry. Someone who was hurt more deeply than Maya? Edgeworth. I think I'm starting to understand too. Ow! Now tell me, Phoenix Wright, who is Maya Fey being strong for? Well, Pearls, of course. Pearl Fey. The poor kid. After all, the reason that she worked so hard to follow the instructions was because she loved it but believed in her mother, Morgan. It's for the good of the Fey clan. I'm sure she believed in every last word. She thought she was doing it for Maya. That's why she was so happy. It shows how truly devoted she is to Maya. But it's a cruel irony that it was her exuberance that led to this tragedy. Maya Fey's mother was killed and Maya herself was put into the deepest peril imaginable. And that's exactly why Maya is putting on a brave face. She's doing it for Pearls' sake, until she can learn her smile, see her smile again. Oh hey, so this is where you all were. Wow, looks like we've got quite the bunch here today. Youch! What was that for, sir? Sorry about that, Scruffy. My whip just seems to have a mind of its own. What's up, Detective Gumshoe? Oh, you know, this and that. Anyway, congrats on your win. Let's go out tonight, pal. Dinner's on me. My salary's just sorta kinda gone down by a teeny weeny bit, but it's alright. I made reservations at a first-class French restaurant tonight. Ah! Pretty good work, Scruffy. That whip was your reward. Detective Gumshoe? You said a first-class French restaurant. You don't mean... Très bien. Where else? I knew it. We're doomed. Come on, let's go, everyone. Can't keep Maggie waiting, pal. Hey, you, Crybaby, you're invited too. Oh, forget about me. Pearl and I will be at the loser shack eating potatoes. You know, Maya's taking an awfully long time to get back. She's still out looking for Pearls. Oh, Maya, what's wrong? Nick, what do I do? Pearlie, I can't find her anywhere. Huh? I bet she just went back home. That's all. I thought so too, so I called the village, but no one has heard from her. This has never happened before. As I figured, she has been badly hurt by this incident. She feels responsible for the tragedy that has befallen you, Maya. But, none of this was her fault. What should I do? Detective Gumshoe? Yeah, what is it, pal? Could you guys go on ahead? But, what about you? Maya and I we'll join you guys once we find Pearls. Nick. Don't worry about us, Detective Gumshoe. We may be a little late, but we'll definitely be there. Huh? What? We have a lot of celebrating to do tonight, and I wouldn't miss it for the world. Yeah, but you're the... Ah! Very well, Phoenix Wright. We'll go on ahead. Don't keep us waiting, right? We won't. But where should we look? Where could Pearlie have gone? That was a reaction to Très Bien. Ah, gotcha. Good old Très Bien. Let's go, Maya. There's only one place I can think of that Pearls might have gone to. Back here. Hazakura Temple. For Pearls, I bet this is a very important place. After all, it's where this whole incident started. What's this? You're all back again so soon? Sister Bikini. I thought we'd be eating mashed potatoes alone tonight. So she's here? Pearlie is here? She's in the training hall. Why don't you hurry along and go see her? Okay. Pearlie's not here. Ah! Maya, the hanging scroll. Ah! Oh. Someone cleaned it off. It's got to be Pearls. Ah! Mystic Maya! Pearlie! Why did you just leave like that? Mystic Maya! Mystic Maya! I swore I swore that I would never trouble the two of you ever again, because it's all my fault that Mystic Maya's mother. That's why you came here? It's the least I could do, to pray for your happiness. You don't have to do that, Pearly. It wasn't your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. Of course, I'm sad that my mother is gone, but how do I say this? I'm still happy. You don't have to lie just to make me feel better. No, really. It's true. The only reason I'm still here at all is thanks to everyone who was there for me. My sis, my mother, Mr. Armando, Nick, and you. If even one of you weren't there, I'm sure I wouldn't still be alive right now. That's why I have to be strong for all the people that were there for me when I needed them. That's all I can really do. Mystic Maya, I'm impressed. You truly are the daughter of Mystic Misty. Sister Bikini, your mother, Mystic Misty, was a strong woman indeed. I want to tell you what she said to me that night. After dishonoring the good name of Karain, I don't have the right to face my daughter. But still, Maya is always in my thoughts. It's true. She'll always be with me until the day I die. Your spirit was with her. That's why your mother was so strong. Even at the end, I'm sure she had no regrets. She'll always be with me until the day I die, huh? There's a rule of something all masters are to follow, isn't there? To never take the charm off until the day you die. That's the master's talisman. The thing that Misty kept by her heart and would never take off. It wasn't the container that was important. Rather, it was the contents. That's... a photo? Ah! Mother. It's only natural for living creatures to fight to protect their own lives. But what makes us human is that we fight for others. But who do you fight for? How hard must you fight? That's the true measure of what human life is worth. We defense attorneys are warriors who are constantly challenged by that question. Aww. Even when the battle is over and the bonds that connect us are severed, we always return, time and time again. Mia, Maya, Pearls, Mr. Armando, and Maya's mother, too. I learned that from all of them. Well, shall we get going? Everyone is waiting. Ah! This is the day to remember, a day when a lot of things were finally put to rest. I think we should celebrate what we've overcome today. But, I still can't... Oh, go on, sweetie. You can come back for training anytime. Okay. Alright, I'm going to make a brand new start too. Sister Bikini, I'll be back for more training, I promise. I know, and I won't go easy on you just because you're the future master. I'll make sure to prepare reservations for the three of you when you come back. Alright, we're gonna have a great feast tonight, Pearly. You know why? Because training is a battle of endurance. Okay, Mystic Maya, I'll eat lots and lots of food tonight. You know, there's one thing I don't get, and probably don't want to, but... What is it, Nick? Reservations for training is fine and all, but why for 3? Come on, what do you think? You're one of us, Nick. Next time you can train right alongside us. Huh? I'll be waiting for you. Sister Bikini will take special care of you. Huh? It'll be great, Nick. We're going to do the special course, naturally. Huh? That's a great idea. After all, Mr. Nick, you'd do anything for Mystic Maya, wouldn't you? Even walk on hot coals, right? We'll have a nice big meal before we come next time, right, Nick? You know, I was wondering if I can just say one little thing. Sure, of course you can. Oh, I love this part. I can't wait to hear it. I'm getting goosebumps, too. Well then, here goes nothing. And there we go, guys. The end of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, the trilogy. I'll really have to work extra hard now. Master of Karain and the office manager of Wright & Cole offices, I have to be a good big sister to Pearly and Nick too. Well, as long as I'm not locked up or captured or something like that. Yeah, do I really have to say what makes this game good? Just the characters, the stories, the writing. So it's true, Mr. Nick really is Mystic Maya's knight in shining armor. He went through with the special course all the way to the end. Actually, I heard there's this legendary extra special ultra course here too. I think I'll surprise the two of them by making them a secret reservation. Now you do? Everything. Everything about this game is great. Maggie brought me a brand new coat as a present, pal. I feel 10 years younger. I'll never take it off. Yes, but somehow you just don't seem the same. I guess a dirty, shabby old overcoat is just more detective-like, sir. Don't worry about it. In the name of love, a man will soil himself silly. I love Detective Gumshoe's new coat. It really is a master detective coat. Mr. Wright, I am once again in your debt. Thanks to you, the Treasures of Karain exhibit were a great success. I even got to see Miss Von Karma, who I hadn't seen for almost a year. She taught me how to use a whip and said that I must show you what I've learned. Oh dear. Yeah, I'm sad it's over, guys. But I do have that Apollo Justice trilogy as well. Desi and I started a company called Master Mask Consulting. We're dedicated to stopping the evil plans of all the criminals in the city. Our motto is, cut it out, please! Pretty cute, huh? Well, we also sell plants to criminals as a kind of side business. Wonder if that's okay. Sometimes I think maybe we're the worst criminals. Coming eventually. I don't know when, I got some other games planned first, but coming eventually, definitely. I wanted to show my appreciation to Mr. Wright for exterminating Don Tigray, so I lent him 500,000 and a tea set, a special thick tea, when I mixed with my own 2 hands. I bet he's drinking it now. Win through compromise. He. Scary. But yeah, these games are great. I hope you all can see now why I love these games. I'm just an old and in the way, a wrinkly, grumpy, clown-nosed waste of flesh. At least that's what I thought. But my grandkids had a birthday party for me the other day. Talk about embarrassing. 69 years old and I cried like a baby with a dirty diaper. Everything she says is creepy. Everything. Yeah, the characters in this game were great. Even her. As usual, we have an abundance of work to do. We've hired a new programmer to replace Glenn Elg. I do hope everyone will get along. His name is Adam Matta. As soon as I heard his name, I knew our brain circuits would align perfectly. What a strange company that was. Cases were great. Can't forget about that. My, more reporters. Since the murder, we've made so much money I hardly know what to do. I think the magazines like us because I provide such a nice visual, especially in spring. I can hardly wait for Iris to come back. Special thanks. Thank you! You've turned into such a respectable man, Feeny. It was so sweet of you and everyone else to come and visit me here the other day. Of course I was happy that you constantly had your eyes on me, but I felt kind of bad when the little one slapped you so hard you got a nosebleed. Yo, Pearls is crazy. Let me tell ya. Voice! Ben Groman Judd. Cool. Good objections from all these lads. Hey. Recognize any of the names? Franzi! God. Not you. Huh? What's this? Oh no. What's this? I'm back from a long and tiring vacation and no one is here to greet me? I guess while I was gone, my little whippersnapper buddy quit and now I've got no one. And what kind of lonely, crazy security room is this supposed to be anyway? What's with all the flashing lights and switches? I feel like some sort of space alien. And now what am I going to do with all these macadamia nuts I brought back for everyone? If I bring them over, I just poo anyway, like we say these days. I can't accept these, I'm afraid, or something like the pain on a fragile heart. Oh, when will I ever find a gentleman to treat me like a fine lady? Freaking old bag. Old bag! I finally found something I love to do. Franzie's whippity whip trip is gonna turn the art world on its head. I should have realized it sooner. Self-concentred, lazy, antisocial. I'm an artist. A really good portrait artist. I'm not a loser after all. Good for you, Larry. Good for you. Aww. That's nice. Aww. Not bad, Larice. Not bad. Well, that's the end, guys. I hope you enjoyed these streams. It was nice getting back into the Ace Attorney series. You have unlocked the secret, 4th game. Which I guess would be, the Apollo Justice series. Yeah, we played through them all, guys. We did it. But it's time to put this time to put this game on the shelf. Like I said, eventually I will play this game. I'm not sure when. First comes first, I gotta beat this game, of course. And the game I plan to play after that is right down here somewhere. There it is. I will be playing Chrono Cross in 2 days, everyone. This will be the game that will replace Phoenix Wright. I never played Chrono Cross before. I know nothing about Chrono Cross. So, yeah, it should be good. Hopefully it'll be good. But as for this game, I am done. I hope you all enjoyed it. I loved it. It is very, very good games. And I hope to see more very soon. But yeah, take care, guys. Tomorrow we have more Dragon Quests and more Tectonics. Bye, Edgewolf. Thanks for stopping by this late. It was good to see you today. I'll see all of you tomorrow. Be well and be epic. Bye!